I was asked if I would lead a kirtan, but you're having the kirtan, so I'll just go to the start. We just started. I didn't let you finish. About Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, it has been described, Ananta Shesha, with his unlimited mouth, singing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes since unlimited period of time, still he cannot come to an end. His name is Ananta because he is endless. He has unlimited mouth, and since unlimited time he is actually describing the glory. So what to speak of us who are dealing with a short span of time and with one mouth. How much can I speak? So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. For 24 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was at home in a household situation, and then he left home, and for 24 years he performed his later pastimes. Maybe somebody can switch off this fan. And out of those 24 years, for first 6 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled to different places. And during those travels, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed Krishna consciousness. Wherever he went, thousands of people followed him because he was so attractive. And wherever he went, he told them, he instructed them about Krishna, and he asked them to preach to others also. That's the time Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the instruction, Jare dakho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Whoever you see, you instruct him about Krishna and Krishna's teachings and Krishna's pastimes. And he instructed everyone to become a spiritual master, executing this responsibility. Amar aggai guru hoiya taro ei desh. You preach Krishna consciousness and assume the role and responsibility of a spiritual master. After taking sannyas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan. But Nityananda Prabhu wanted to bring him back to Navadvip, because all of a sudden Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left and he was so dear to everyone in Navadvip. So Nityananda Prabhu knew how everyone was feeling in Navadvip due to his separation. So he decided to bring him back. So he tricked him. While he was traveling, he was running. Soon after Chaitanya Sannyas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just started to run for Vrindavan. For 3 days and 3 nights, non-stop, he ran. And along with him ran his 4 associates. Nityananda, Chandrasekhar, Mukunda. And Nityananda Prabhu actually misdirected him and led him to the bank of the Ganges, opposite to Shantipur. Shantipur is the residence of Advaita Acharya. And the other side of the Ganges is a place called Ambika Kalna. And there were some boys who were tending the cows. And Nityananda Prabhu felt that seeing the cows and the cowherd boys, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will remember Vrindavan. And he will ask these boys, which place was this? And he told those cowherd boys to tell him that this is Vrindavan. So same thing happened. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the cows, many cows, and the cowherd boys tending those cows. And when he asked, what is this place? What's the name of this place? And those boys, being instructed by Nityananda Prabhu, told them, this is Vrindavan, this is Vrindavan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very excited hearing that this is Vrindavan. So he told Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda, we arrived in Vrindavan. And Nityananda Prabhu said, yes. And seeing the Ganga, he said, so this is Jamuna. He says, yes, this is Jamuna. So in ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jumped into the river. And in the meantime, Nityananda Prabhu already sent the message to Advaita Acharya that he is bringing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the other side of the Ganges. And he asked him to come with dry sannyas clothes. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Advaita Acharya coming in a boat. So he asked Advaita Acharya, Advaita, how did you come here? He said, Nityananda sent me message. So, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu realized that actually he has been tricked. It was not Vrindavan, he has been brought back to the Ganges on the other side of the river, Ganges from Shantipur. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very upset. He told Nityananda Prabhu, you lied to me. This is Vrindavan, this is Jamuna. Nityananda Prabhu's nature was actually quite unpredictable and jovial. He's very jolly and jovial. So Nityananda Prabhu said, no, I never lie. Wherever you are, there's Vrindavan. And after Ganga and Jamuna merged, the Jamuna is flying on the western bank, western side of the river, and Ganga is flowing on the eastern side. So this is the western side. Therefore, this is Jamuna. Anyway, so Shantipur, Chaitanya Advaita Acharya Prabhu took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu to Shantipur, and everyone got the news in Navadvip that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to Shantipur, so they all came to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So many people came there, and they all wanted to come to Advaita Acharya's house that they practically broke the wall. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met his mother. Actually, everyone came from Navadvip. Only Vishnu Priya Devi didn't come, because after one takes sannyas, one doesn't meet his wife. So that's why Vishnu Priya didn't come. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met his mother, she was quite old. Prabhupada described that Vishnu Priya Devi was at that time only 16 years old. And Sachi Mata was 70 years old. So leaving his 70-year-old mother and 16-year-old wife, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left home, and there was no male member in the family, just two ladies at home. And the only male member actually was the servant, Ishan. Ishan used to take care of their daily needs. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lamented that he made a mistake. He told his mother, I made a mistake taking sannyas. I shouldn't have left home. I should have taken care of you. Anyway, I'll give up my sannyas and I will take care of you. I'll stay with you. Sachimata said, no. You have accepted sannyas, now you should stay in your sannyas order. But she made one request, stay nearby, that from time to time I get to hear about you. And that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to stay in Jagannath. Generally, when one takes sannyas, he just leaves home and just disappears. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's elder brother, Vishwarup took sannyas and no one saw him after that. Those days when somebody used to take sannyas, he used to just disappear forever. So, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to stay in Jagannath Puri, because Mother Sachi requested that he should stay near some nearby. Nearby means some place where there would be some communication and there would be some information available. So that is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath Puri. Of course, there are other reasons also. Because Jagannath and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has some similarity. Jagannath also is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jagannath is Krishna. But Jagannath is Krishna of Dwarka, who is yearning to be in Vrindavan. So in a way, Krishna is feeling the separation from Vrindavan. That is Lord Jagannath. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also feeling the separation from Vrindavan. Feeling the separation from Krishna. Krishna himself is feeling the separation of Krishna. Because he is in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And yesterday explained why he assumed that role, the mood of Srimati Radharani, because he wanted to experience how Radharani feels due to her love for Krishna. And so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Jagannath Puri. He arrived in Jagannath Puri alone. Although he had his companions, but while they were coming, they came to a river, And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to take bath there. And he gave his sannyas danda to Mukunda. And Nityananda Prabhu took the danda when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking his bath in the river. And he had a nice conversation with the sannyas danda. Nityananda Prabhu told him, "My dear sir, who do you think you are?" Danda actually means punishment. Sannyas carries a danda signifying some sort of punishment that one voluntarily accepts for rejecting Krishna. And so he carries, so he says the personality who is the supreme controller and supreme maintainer, he is going to carry you as if he is he is voluntarily accepting some punishment. I can't tolerate that. Saying that, Nityananda Prabhu broke the danda and threw the danda in the river. After taking the bath, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came out and asked for the danda, he was told that the danda has been broken by Nityananda Prabhu. So the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so upset. He said, "What? Do you think my sannyas is a joke? I wanted to go to Vrindavan and you misdirected me and brought me back to Navadvip. And now my only possession was Miss Danda, and that also you broke and threw away. I don't want to be with you all." Saying that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ran towards Jagannath Puri. So when he came to Jagannath Puri, just seeing Jagannath, he became so ecstatic that he fainted. So when he fainted, then the guards of Jagannath thought that it's a kind of a madman or something, creating some disturbance. So they were about to manhandle him. At that time, the King Prataparudra's court scholar, Sabha Pandit, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, an extremely exalted personality, a learned, the exponent of the Vedanta philosophy, considered to be the greatest exponent of Vedanta philosophy of the time. So he was there, and he was the king's, the crest jewel of his court, king's court. So he was present there, and he saw that this young sannyasi fainted. And when he carefully scrutinized him, he saw that it's actually, this fainting is an ecstatic symptom. Kind of ecstatic symptom that he read in the scriptures but never really experienced before. He read about it, he was aware of that kind of ecstasy, but he never seen that ecstasy being manifest in anyone. So seeing that, he could recognize that this must be a very, very exalted personality. So he, with his students, he carried him to his house when he fainted. And so in the meantime, Nityananda Prabhu and others came, and they came to Jagannath temple and inquired about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, inquired if there was a young sannyasi. And he was told, yes, some such personality came, and he fainted, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya took him to his house. So while they were going to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, they met one of their acquaintances from Navadvip, Gopinath Acharya. And so Gopinath Acharya was surprised to see them. So Gopinath Acharya asked, he was very close to Gadadhar Pandit, and said, what brings you here? And they said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. So Gopinath Acharya already heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, but when he heard that he is in Jagannath Puri, he became ecstatic. And Gopinath Acharya was the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So he took them to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was still unconscious, but when they started to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he came back to his senses. And then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya suggested that they go to Jagannath Puri, have darshan, and he made arrangements for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's accommodation, all those devotees' accommodation. He was a very influential person, so it was not difficult for him. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya developed a lot of affection for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Such a young boy, and took sannyas, so handsome. But he had a big concern also about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he saw him, he saw that he is young, he is handsome, and he is so sentimental. And he felt that he may not be able to maintain his sannyas. And to fall down from sannyas order is something like committing suicide. So it's considered to be most unfortunate happening to fall down from sannyas order. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya decided to give him the proper understanding of Vedanta. And by giving him the understanding of Vedanta, he will fix him up in his sannyas order. He will become very serious about his spiritual life, about his sannyas ashram. But Gopinath Acharya, who already knew Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from before, so Gopinath Acharya told Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, actually, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya got into an argument with him. He said that in Kali Yuga, Supreme Personality of Godhead doesn't appear. Therefore, he is called three yugas, the one who appears in three yugas. But Gopinath Acharya pointed out how in this age of Kali, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears hiding his identity. And that's why he is called Three Yuga. In this way, Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had some argument. And in India, brothers-in-laws have quite a sweet relationship. They often get into fights and they insult each other and they call names to each other. It's all taken for granted. So they had a sweet relationship like that already. So they got into a big discussion, big argument. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that, Jai Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki Jai, Shri Shri Nrsimha Bhagavan ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that, he accepted. He said, he is my well-wisher. He wants to fix me in my sannyas order. He wants to teach me Vedanta. So sure, I will take his lessons, study under his tutelage. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then started to teach Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Vedanta. For 7 days, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya instructed him on Vedanta. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu listened for 7 days without saying anything, silent, absolutely silently listening. So on the 7th day, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna Chaitanya, do you understand what I am saying? Because you don't even say yes or no, just... So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu responded, I understand the aphorisms of Vedanta, the sutras of Vedanta, but I don't understand your explanation. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, the explanations are meant to clarify the sutras. So what we are saying that you understand the sutra but you don't understand the explanation. What do you mean? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, your explanations do not clarify the meanings. Your so-called explanations are covering the meanings, just as cloud covers the sun. The sun is self-manifest, but the cloud covers the sun and obscures our eyes. So this led to a discussion. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eventually asked him to explain one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. That verse is considered called Atmarama verse. It goes like Atmaramascha munayo nirgrantha api udukrame kurvanti ahaituking bhakting itham bhuta guna harihi. Meaning, Atmarams, those who are experiencing transcendental bliss within themselves, those exalted personalities, munis, who have become totally free from all kinds of material bondages, nirgrantha, still they become engaged in loving devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The point is, the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's school, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's understanding was impersonalistic understanding. The impersonalistic understanding is that the ultimate goal of life is liberation. Liberation means merging into Brahma Jyoti. So this verse is pointing out that those who have already become liberated and experiencing the joy of merging into Brahma Jyoti, becoming totally free from material bondage, they become engaged in devotional service. You see the point? Like you are saying that liberation is the ultimate goal. Merging into Brahma Jyoti is the ultimate goal. Those who have already become liberated and merged into Brahma Jyoti, they become engaged in devotional service. So that means the devotional service is beyond liberation. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defeated Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Now Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was an extremely exalted, extremely revered personality. And now he has been defeated by this young lad, 24 years old boy, whom he thought that a sentimentalist and he is going to fall down from his sannyas order. He wanted to give him, instruct him on Vedanta philosophy, and now he smashed him. Pointed out that his whole life's involvement was a total waste. So totally heartbroken, he went home. He went to his home and he was very, very, feeling very dejected. So that night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to him. And he displayed his 6-armed form. In four arms, he was holding conch, disc, lotus, and mess. And in other 2 hands, he was holding the danda of a sannyasi and the water pot of a sannyasi, indicating that this 4-armed Supreme Personality of Godhead is none other than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he showed his 2 arms holding the bow and arrow of Lord Ramchandra, flute of Krishna with 2 other hands, and with 2 other hands he is holding the sannyas dandya and kamandalu water pot. And this is how then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya visibly saw who this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, that he is the personality who came in Treta Yuga as Ramchandra, in Dwapar Yuga as Krishna Chandra, and in this Kali Yuga he appeared as a devotee who assumed the role of a sannyasi. The Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya fell at his feet in total surrender, and there he composed 100 verses. He was so exalted, such an exalted scholar and a poet. And the first verse of that, those prayers goes like, Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Shikharthameka Purusha Purana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shariradhari Kripam Buddhirjas Tamahang Prapadde. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Shikharthameka Purusha Purana. Purusha Purana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, descended in order to teach the science of renunciation, vairagya, because he's a sannyasi. He's teaching us the science of renunciation, which is non-different from Nija Bhakti Yogam, non-different from his own devotional service. Shikharthameka Purusha Purana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shariradhari. He has assumed the identity of Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Stamahang Prapadde, I surrender myself unto him. So this is how we can see, especially after taking sannyas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted different people who initially did not accept him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They all were very exalted personalities, very important personalities, and they did not accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but then they did. So that is how it shows that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers are not just a bunch of sentimentalists. Like nowadays we find, oh, this Bhagavan, that Bhagavan. A bunch of illiterate, uninformed individuals. Like they say that someone is Bhagavan, and that idiot also thinks that he has become Bhagavan because he has some people telling him Bhagavan. Like Pondraka in Krishna's pastimes. Like people are saying, you are actually Vasudeva, you are the real Vasudeva. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he also started to think that, yes, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he challenged Krishna. I am the real Vasudeva. You are a fake Vasudeva. You surrender unto me. And give me your disc and chakra. And Krishna's response was, okay, I'll give you my chakra. I'll send my chakra. But not to adorn your hand, but to cut your throat. And that's what he did. He challenged Krishna. Krishna went, accepting the challenge, and killed him with his associates, who was the king of Kasi. Anyway, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not a Supreme Personality of Godhead like that. He was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whom the greatest personalities of that time, although initially they didn't accept him, but eventually they did. So this is how then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Jagannath Puri, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya now became his great devotee. And by seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he recognized another great devotee, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, that is Ramananda Rai. Ramananda Rai was the governor of South India. Those days, the domain of the king of Orissa stretched all the way up to Andhra. And Ramananda Rai actually was the governor of Andhra Pradesh, that part of India. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya used to tell Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about Ramananda Rai. He is such a great devotee. He used to display his devotion to Krishna and Jagannath, but those days I couldn't understand because I didn't understand the glory of devotion at that time. But now that I understood what it actually means, I understand the exalted position of Ramananda Rai. So after staying in Jagannath Puri for a while, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to leave Jagannath Puri and travel to South India. And at that time, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told him to meet Ramananda Rai when he went to South India. So he came, he traveled, and there are many wonderful things happened. Maybe we can just narrate one such example, one such incident. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to a village. He used to stop in the villages, different villages at night. And he would stay in the house of some Brahmana. And the whole night he would actually have Ishtagoshti, discuss about Krishna consciousness with the people, those who assembled there. And he would instruct them about Krishna, and he would tell them that now you go and distribute this message to others. So one night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in the house of a Brahmana. And in the morning he left. In that village, there was another Brahmana. His name was Vasudev. He had leprosy. And leprosy is a terrible disease. And nowadays, actually, it's become practically extinct. Only some cases you see them in India. Like your body starts to rot and fall apart. Your skin, flesh, even bone rot, and it's kind of an ulcer. That ulcer causes the body to decay and fall. And this Vasudeva was such an exalted person. It's a very painful disease. You can well imagine. like your flesh is rotting and falling off. And some worms were actually eating up those rotten part of the ulcer. And sometimes some worm would fall off. Vasudeva would pick them and place them back so that they can actually eat his flesh. So Vasudeva was a great devotee of the Lord. And he got the news in the morning that the Supreme Personality of Godhead came to this village. In such and such house, he stayed through the whole night. So he ran to meet him. But by the time Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left already, so he fell down on the ground, crying piteously. I came so close to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but I couldn't see him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu already traveled quite a distance, but he came back. He picked up Vasudeva and he embraced him. And by his touch, Vasudeva's leper body became transformed, not only became cured of his leprosy, but assumed a body as beautiful as that of a demigod. Now Vasudeva was such an exalted devotee, he started to lament. It was better that I had that leprosy, because in that painful condition I was always remembering you. But now that I got this beautiful body, this body will drag me towards sense gratification. See, this is the mood of a devotee. He doesn't want to have a beautiful, handsome, healthy body, because that body may drag him towards sense gratification. Whereas it's better to have a body that is suffering, that is ugly, that is rotting. And actually that also had another effect in King Prataprudra. King Prataprudra also initially did not accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He said, he is an exalted personality, I accept he is a Mahapurusha, but Supreme Personality of Godhead now. But when Prataprudra heard about this incident, that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not only cured a leper, he embraced that leper. And he said, only the Supreme Personality of Godhead can do that. Because of his love, just as the love of a father makes him to embrace the child, no matter in whatever condition he may be, in how dirty, how piteous condition he may be, the father doesn't hesitate or mother doesn't hesitate to embrace the child. Similarly, only the Lord could embrace a leper. He said, King Prataprudra actually concluded that yes, many saintly personalities have cured lepers and all, but no one ever embraced him. So that's how King Prataprudra became convinced that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then came to a place called Kobhur on the bank of Godavari in Andhra. And he was sitting on the bank of Godavari under a tree. At that time, one noble personality came with his entourage, carrying him in a palanquin, many brahmanas chanting the Vedic mantras. And he came to Godavari and in order to take bath. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sitting under a tree, saw him. And this personality also, after taking his bath, he saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he came to him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, "Are you Ramananda Roy?" And he said, "Yes, this servant of yours has the same name." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced him. Said, "I heard about you from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya." So this is how they met. And everyone there became very surprised because it is an unusual happening. You see, a personality like him is considered to be a materialistic person, a governor. Very exalted materialistic situation. And a sannyasi who is generally detached from everything, they don't want to have anything to do with them. For example, when King Prataprudra wanted to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused. He said, a sannyasi's business is not to meet with a king. He even made a statement from the scriptures saying that it is better to be in a same room with a serpent than to see a king. But here, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is embracing this personality who is a governor. So all the brahmanas there were very surprised, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also and Ramananda Roy also could understand that this is not the right time and right place to meet. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him that come again in the evening. So that evening, Ramananda Roy came, just with one brahmana with him. He met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a very wonderful discussion with him. That discussion actually leads to the ultimate perfection of spiritual elevation, ultimate spiritual perfection. Like gradually going step by step in spiritual advancement. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually asked Ramananda, after some initial exchanges, told that how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told him about him, and he was so eager to meet him, and he is so happy that he get to see him. And Ramananda Roy responded, "Oh, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is very affectionate towards me. He is always wishing me well. That's why he actually wanted you to bestow your mercy upon me." And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, "Tell me, what is the ultimate goal of life?" Because in the Vedic culture, that is the main consideration. The ultimate goal of life. What is the ultimate goal of life? Like generally in the materialistic people think that the goal of life is to make a lot of money and have a lot of fun, nice situation, a lot of enjoyment. But the Vedic culture allows that. Okay, fine, if you want to enjoy, go ahead, enjoy. And get sick and tired of that enjoyment. so that you can become fixed up in your spiritual life. So that is what the Vedic culture is actually promoting. But when it comes to the spiritual platform, then there are other considerations. So Ramananda Roy answered that to Varnashram, to execute Varnashram Dharma is the ultimate goal of life. See, that is the very basic understanding. The living entities are situated in different modes, and they should act according to their propensities that develops according to those modes. Like Brahmana, those who are in Sattvagun, Brahmanas, Rajagun, Kshatriya, mixed gun of Raja and Tama, Vaishya, and mode of ignorance, Shudra. And the life is also divided into 4 orders: student life, householder's life, retired life, and renounced life. So, Ramananda Rai answered that Varnashram, to perform Varnashram, Dharma is the goal of life. And he substantiated his statement by scriptural evidence. Jai Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Prahlad Nrsimha Dev ki Jai. So he just substantiated his statement by quoting Varnashrama Charobata Purushena Parah Puman Vishnur Aradhate Pantha Nainang Tattosha Karanam. Meaning performance of Varnashram. By performing Varnashram, one pleases Vishnu. Worships Vishnu. Vishnur Aradhate Pantha. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected that. That's external. Tell me what is beyond that. So, Ramananda Roy suggested the Karma Yoga is the goal of life. And he quoted the verse to substantiate that statement by saying, Jat karosi jadasnasi jat juhasi dadasi jat jat tapushoshi konteya tat kurusha madarpanam. Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you give in charity, whatever austerities you perform, do it for my sake. Offer the results of all your actions to me. That is the principle of Karma Yoga. You act, and the results of your action, you don't consider yourself to be the enjoyer of the results of your action. Offer the results of your actions to Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected that. That's also external. And then he quoted the verse saying that rejection of karma is the goal of life. Sarva dharman parittajya mamekam sharanam braja. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected that also. That's also external. Then Ramananda Roy, spoke about Jnana Yoga. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Na Sochati Na Kangshati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhakting Labhate Param. Being situated in the Brahma Bhuta platform, when the heart becomes completely content, prasanna atma, at that time there is no lamentation and no hankering. No lamentation for something that one has lost, and no hankering for something that one doesn't have. And at that stage, sama sarveshu bhuteshu, he sees all living entities with a completely equipoised perception. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected that also. Then he spoke about pure devotional service. He spoke about jnana, he spoke about karma, but now he is speaking about anna bhilashita sunnam jnana karmad anabritam anukullena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. The pure devotion is that is free from karma, free from the coverings of karma and jnana. That is the identity of pure devotion. Karma means desire for enjoyment in the material nature. Jnana means desire for liberation. So when one is free from both the desire from enjoyment in this material nature and liberation from material nature, giving up those two apparently two sides of the same coin, because both are related to the material nature. Enjoying the material nature and rejection of the material nature, both are related to the material nature. But pure devotional service is transcendental to material nature. So at that point, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted that. Yes, that's right. Tell me what's beyond that. And then he explained about devotional service in the mellow of neutrality, Santaras. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted that. Yes, that's right. Tell me what's beyond that. Devotional service in Dasyara, servitorship. That's right. What's beyond that? Tell me what is further from devotional service in friendship. Okay, what's beyond that? Devotional service in parental relationship. Tell me what's beyond that. Devotional service in conjugal relationship. Tell me beyond that. Beyond that, I didn't know that anyone could ask me what is beyond that. But you are questioning me and you are also providing the answers through me. So if you bless me, if you empower me, then maybe I'll be able to say something. And then Ramananda Roy mentioned about devotional service of the gopis in Vrindavan. Fine, tell me what's beyond that. Then among all these gopis, there is one gopi who is very special. And the proof he described from Srimad Bhagavatam, that Krishna is dancing rasa dance with 16,000 gopis. There is one Krishna between two gopis. But in the center, one Krishna is dancing with one gopi. So that gopi must be very special. And then this gopi, when she got upset and left the Rasa Mandali, Krishna left all 16,000 gopis and ran after her. So this gopi must be very special. So in this way, he proved from Srimad Bhagavatam the very special identity of Srimati Radharani. And that is the highest form of devotion. Anyway, it goes further also, and it came to a point when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's identity was about to become revealed as he is Radha and Krishna. So at that point he covered him. Fine, you have said enough. You don't have to say any more. He practically covered his mouth. And so this is how, through this conversation with Ramananda Rai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the highest spiritual situation, the most exalted spiritual position. And this is also what you'll find in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Gradually, it's taking you to the ultimate point of devotion in Vrindavan, devotion of the gopis, and among the gopis, Srimati Radharani's situation being the most exalted. So in this way, after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through Ramananda Rai, conversation with Ramananda Rai gave the essence of the Vedic wisdom. Devotional service is the highest. And in devotional service, conjugal relationship, devotion in conjugal relationship is the highest. That means the way the gopis of Vrindavan served Krishna, that is the highest form of worship. And among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani's position is the most exalted. So, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's South Indian tour, one very interesting happening is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu found two scriptures, Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita. So you can leave it there and they can take it like that. You don't have, okay, show it to Prabhupada. Just keep it there and everybody can just take it. Okay. Just sit down and so Krishna Karnam. So Brahma Samhita, these two books Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered to be so important that while he did not carry anything with him when he was traveling, he himself didn't write anything. The only thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote, although he was the greatest scholar of all time, the only thing that he himself wrote was the Shikshashtakam. And that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally copied the Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita. So that shows how important he considered these two scriptures to be. Because Brahma Samhita is the essence of the entire Vedic wisdom. The Vedas are actually converging. First, Vedas expanded from Brahma, Gayatri, it expanded through Brahma. And then it converged into Srimad Bhagavatam. And the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam actually has been presented in Brahma Samhita. This, the few verses of the 5th chapter that we usually recite, that we recited today. Because that is giving us the perfect understanding. Vrindavan, Krishna's relationship, Krishna's identity, and then Krishna's relationship with everyone. Krishna's relationship with the incarnations. Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan. All these incarnations are Kala niyamena tishtan. These expansions and expansions of expansions. Nana avataram akarod bhuvaneshu kintu. Take anyone and you are getting the understanding who is who. Who is Ganesh? Jat pada pallava jugang binidhaya kumbha. Ganesh has the ability to dispel the impediments from the path of success. He removes the impediments. But how does he do that? By holding the lotus feet of the Lord on his head. Who is Durga? Shishti sthiti pralaya sadhana shakti rekha. Chaye vajasya bhuvanani vibhakti Durga. Shadow is Durga. Who is Lord Shiva? Akshirang jatha dodhi vikara vishesha yogat. Just as milk turns into yogurt, the Lord himself has transformed into Lord Shiva in order to perform some special business. So in this way we can see when we get to understand Brahma Samhita, we get a proper understanding of everything. So that's why we have to recognize that Brahma Samhita is a very, very special book. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who didn't carry anything himself and who didn't write anything himself, he copied this book himself. And because of his mercy, we actually find it. And sometimes some people say that, well, Brahma Samhita, it's not actually written by Brahma, it's written by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And our response to that is, that's even more wonderful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never wrote anything, but if he wrote this himself, then what can be greater than that? And it is not who wrote it. The consideration is what this writing is saying. Like this is how we deal with the so-called mundane scholars. Oh, this is not this hasn't been written by this is not written by Vasudev. Gita is not spoken by Krishna. Doesn't matter whether it's been spoken by Krishna or not. But what it is saying, does it make sense? That is what is important. So, our business is not to get into this dry arguments with these so-called scholars. Our business is to relish the nectar that is there. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, in this respect, one example is given. A difference between a crow and a cuckoo. You have seen crows, no doubt about that. They're everywhere, especially in today's world. How many of you have seen cuckoo birds? Okay. Don't they look like the crow? Don't they look similar? Similar in the sense, both the birds have the similar kind of color, blackish. I mean, cuckoos look beautiful actually. But apparently somewhat they have similarity. But their natures are completely different. The crows, when they crow, how does it sound? So disgusting. And when the cuckoo birds sing, how does it sound? And what does the crow eat? Do you know? All the garbage. The crows eat all the garbage. And the cuckoo birds, their food is the budding, blooming mango flowers. So that is the difference. So our business is not like that of a crow. Plenty of crows are there, those who are crowing all over and creating disturbance to the human society. And our business is to relish the nectar that is there. We don't waste our time with this kind of doubts. whether this has been written by Krishna or not. I mean, why should anybody lie? In the Vedic culture, there is no room for lie and falsity. That reminds me, when I was young and I used to read novels or such mundane literatures, my aunt used to get very upset. And I used to be surprised and quite upset also. Why she is so finicky about all that? What's wrong with that? But to tell you frankly, after I joined ISKCON, I understood why. Because they could not tolerate that lies are being presented in the form of books. The Vedic understanding is the books should deal with the truth and nothing but the truth. And fiction means lie, concocted stories. In the Vedic culture, at the most you get history. And the things are based on those historical facts. There is no room for falsity. In Srimad Bhagavatam, do you find anything has been concocted or introduced which is not factual? No. It's presenting only the truth and the nothing but the truth. And only the absolute truth. Anyway, so, we are so fortunate that we have access to these wonderful literatures like Brahma Samhita, After traveling in South India, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back to Jagannath Puri. And he stayed in Jagannath Puri for some time, and the devotees from Bengal used to come and meet him. Every year for Ratha Jatra they used to come to Jagannath Puri, and for 4 months Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to be in Jagannath Puri, and they used to also come and see him. And they used to have a beautiful exchange. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan. And when he wanted to go to Vrindavan, he wanted to take the natural course, like going north through Bengal, then on Bihar, travel west, and that is the course. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled north, and in North Bengal, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, two very, very exalted personalities. They were the ministers of the king. The king was also Muslim, Nawab Hussain Shah. But this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu couldn't go further. Sanatana Goswami actually told him that so many people are following you. Do you want to go to Vrindavan in that way? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took that statement of Sanatana Goswami seriously. And he went up to a place called Kanai Natshala, at the border of Bihar and Bengal. And he decided not to go any further. So he went back to Jagannath Puri. Then when he decided to go to Vrindavan, this time he decided to take the forest path without telling anybody. Without telling anybody, because if anybody knew, then they would follow him. So one night he told only Sarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy that he was going to leave for Vrindavan. He told them, please give me the permission to go to Vrindavan. And he wanted to travel alone. Then Sarup Damodar convinced him that, look, Sarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy, that while you are traveling alone, somebody has to carry your things. somebody has to make arrangements for your food. So you just take one Brahman with you. And they suggested that Balabhadra Bhattacharya, a very wonderful Brahmana, to accompany him. And Balabhadra Bhattacharya had a servant. He would carry the things. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then traveled through the forest path. From Orissa, there is a place called Jharkhand, and it was a dense forest Mahaprabhu traveled through. And there was Balabhadra Bhattacharya and his servant experienced some amazing happenings there. And the forest was naturally full of ferocious wild animals. And like one day while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling, he stepped onto a sleeping tiger. And Mahaprabhu told the tiger, chant Hare Krishna. He started to chant, and the tiger also started to chant Hare Krishna. One day Mahaprabhu was taking bath in a river, and the hordes of elephants came. They were all wild elephants. And Mahaprabhu sprinkled some water on them. And all the elephants became ecstatic, and they started to chant the holy name and started to roll on the ground. And while Mahaprabhu was traveling through the forest like that, the tigers and deers and they all started to follow him. He was so attractive that even the animals started to follow him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually recited a verse in Vrindavan, how the tigers and deers, they all live in perfect harmony. There is no animosity between these animals. And due to the influence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they also started to chant the holy name. So that's one amazing thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed during his travel to Vrindavan through the forest of Jharkhand. Made the wild animals chant the holy name of the Lord. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Benares, and there he met Tapan Mishra. One day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking bath in the Manikarnika Ghat in Benares, Kashi. And Tapan Mishra saw him and became so enchanted by him that he approached him and invited him to his house. And he stayed in Tapan Mishra's house for some time. And Benares actually is a place of the Mayavadis. Mayavadis generally worship Lord Shiva. And so Benares is the seat of Lord Shiva. So the Mayavadis assembled there. And the head of the sannyasis, their Mayavadi sannyasis, was a sannyasi named Prakashananda Saraswati. And Prakashananda Saraswati became inimical towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was considered to be the most exalted impersonalistic scholar. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defeated him and made him into a devotee. So his thing was that he knows some magic. And with his magical trick, he is actually converting people and making them sing and dance. Because Mayavadis do not understand the depth of devotion. So they think that there is some sort of magical thing that they perform. And So, and this way they started to blaspheme Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So those who became attracted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they became offended. They felt bad that this person is blaspheming Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they were quite heartbroken. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would understand that how bad they were feeling. So at that time, one Brahmana came, and he requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come to his house. He is inviting all the sannyasis. And if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also would accept his invitation, he would consider himself to be very, very fortunate. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu generally did not accept any such invitation. But this time he did. This time he did because he wanted to please his devotees. His devotees were hurt that they were blaspheming him. So, and this is another wonderful pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with these Mayavadis. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the invitation and went to his house. All these sannyasis who were invited, they were sitting on an exalted position. And generally, in the Vedic culture, when somebody arrives, his feet is washed. And after washing his feet, naturally that place which is considered where they wash their feet is considered to be dirty place. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just sat down there. And sitting there, he displayed he displays effulgence. And everyone was awestruck to see him. Prakashananda Saraswati himself came out and said, "Why are you sitting in such a dirty place? Come and sit with us." Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very humbly said that, "Look, I am not fit to sit in that kind of assembly. To begin with, I am a sannyasi of a lower order." You see, sannyas also, Sankarite sannyasis has classes. There are 10 different classes of sannyasis. And he took sannyas from Keshav Bharati. So Bharati Sampradaya is considered to be one of the lowest ones. The exalted ones are Ban, Aranya, Puri, Sagar, etc. There are 10 different classes. So he said that. So Prakashananda Saraswati, the leader, who was actually leader of the sannyasis, who was actually blaspheming Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his heart became completely transformed. He brought him, picked him up by his hand and said, "No, you come and sit there." And then they had the discussion. And he asked, "You are a sannyasi, why do you do this kind of dance, sentimental things like chanting and dancing? That's not the business of a sannyasi. Sannyasi should be meditating. She should sit at one place, grave, shouldn't move, shouldn't speak with anybody, shouldn't eat, shouldn't sleep. He should be just sitting at one place and consider, I am Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. Tattamasi, I am that. I am the source of everything." So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very humbly said, "See, when my spiritual master saw me, he saw what a big fool I was. Guru more murkho dekhi korilo shashan." He chastised me, seeing me as a fool. And he gave me this holy name, and he asked me to chant the holy name. So being instructed by my spiritual master in this way, I just chant the holy name. And then I don't know what happened. This holy name made me mad. I laugh, I dance, I sing, I roll in the ground. I can't control myself. I've become mad. So I went to my guru and asked him, what kind of mantra you gave me? That mantra actually made me insane. And my guru said, that is the perfection of the mantra. Like, you are very fortunate. And this is how he explained the glory of the holy name. And then this is how he actually made them understand that chanting the holy name of the Lord and experience the ecstasy of devotion to the Lord is the ultimate goal of life. And in this way, just from this one encounter, 64,000 followers of Prakashananda Saraswati, along with Prakashananda Saraswati, became devotees. Okay, so now I'll stop. As I said, like it can go on and on, but more, okay. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Vrindavan. He came to Mathura and he traveled, he visited all those places of pilgrimage, Krishna's birth, and he was in total ecstasy, just experiencing all these places of Krishna's pastimes. And there he met one Brahmana, old Brahmana. And wherever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, he used to just sing and dance. And so this Brahmana also started to sing and dance with him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wondered, like this kind of devotion, where did he get it from? So he asked him, where did you get this devotion to the Lord? And he told him that he had the good fortune to meet one very exalted sannyasi when he came to Mathura. He followed him and he served him. What was the name of that sannyasi? Madhavendra Puri. So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could see that, or rather he showed that this kind of devotion that we are experiencing and that we are practicing is actually coming from a very special line which was not there before. 4 other Vaishnava Sampradayas had been there, but this kind of devotion was not there. Some Sampradayas do claim that they had understanding of Radha Krishna's pastimes, but we have to understand that what they have, they actually got it from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, but they don't want to admit that. Anyway, so this is also another way that we can see how fortunate we are that we have somehow or other become connected to this sampradaya. This is the meaning of initiation also. Become connected to this particular line that is coming from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This devotion, this kind of devotion is not available anywhere else. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Vrindavan and he became totally absorbed in Radha Krishna's pastimes, and he was looking for Radha Kund and Shyam Kund, and he couldn't find it. Then he came across this paddy field that has a little water in there. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu identified that that is the Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. This is how Radha Kund and Shyam Kund was retrieved. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went back to Jagannath Puri after Vrindavan. On the way, he actually met Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. And he instructed Rupa Goswami with his teachings for 10 days in Prayag. And he met Sanatana Goswami in Varanasi, Benares. And these two encounters is also very important, because through them he actually revealed the most exalted teachings of Krishna consciousness. Through Rupa Goswami he gave the Rasa Tattva. Rasa Tattva means the mellow of devotion. And through Sanatana Goswami he gave the Sambandha Gyan, the relationship with Krishna. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went back to Jagannath Puri. After that he stayed in Jagannath Puri for 18 years. After traveling for 6 years, he went, and in Jagannath Puri he actually was totally absorbed in remembrance of Krishna in Vrindavan. His mood there was the mood of Vipralambha, the separation. And the way he was there, he was always crying and in separation of Krishna. Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai were his constant companion, and with Sikhi Mahiti and Madhavi Devi, Sikhi Mahiti's sister, is considered to be with these 3.5 persons. He used to be absorbed in discussing about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, Krishna's intimate relationship with the residents of Vrindavan. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami are the two principal Goswamis who actually presented Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings through their writings. Along with them, there were Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Sri Jiva Goswami. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not present anything through writing, but it is through the Goswamis that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings has become available. And then finally we find Krishnadas Kaviraj's presentation of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita is the most wonderful scripture. It is not only presenting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, but it is presenting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings in such a wonderful way. And what he had, the relevance of his pastimes has become so beautifully manifest through their writings. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami were two extremely exalted personalities. Those days, Bengal was governed by a Muslim king called Hussain Shah. And he appointed, generally the Muslims used to appoint other Muslims in the exalted positions. But he actually gave two most important positions in his kingdom to these two brothers, Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami, the chief minister and finance minister. After meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami left for Vrindavan. He didn't have any any attachment left for his exalted position or even to his family members. He left everything. But Sanatana Goswami continued. He couldn't leave immediately. But he stopped going to the court. So one day, the king naturally questioned, what's the matter? Why Sanatana Goswami also got a Muslim name at that time. The name of his position actually, Davir Khash. Davir Khash literally means the chief minister. So, and because they took the service of a Muslim, they lost their status in the Brahminical society. So Brahmanas have actually ostracized them. And so, but Sanatana Goswami was from a very exalted Brahmana family, and he himself was a great scholar and a great devotee from his childhood. It's been described that Sanatana Goswami had a dream one night that a Brahmana came and gave him a Srimad Bhagavatam, gave him a book. He didn't know what the book was. And next morning, a Brahmana did come and gave him a Srimad Bhagavatam. And since then, this Bhagavatam became his constant companion. Sanatana Goswami described that this Bhagavatam is his constant companion and dearmost friend. So that is how exalted a devotee he was. But at that time, in India, the Brahminical society was in such a pathetic condition, and they became so arrogant in their behavior that they kind of ostracized such an exalted devotee. And Sanatana Goswami gave up. They were actually forced to take that position of the king as ministers, because the king got to know about the intelligence, their expertise, and that's why he actually wanted them to be involved in the royal court. So Sanatana Goswami stopped coming to the court. King questioned what happened, and he got the message that he is not well. So the king sent his court physician, and the physician, after checking Sanatana Goswami, came to the king and reported, nothing is wrong with him. He's perfectly all right. The king then went to Sanatana Goswami's house, and he found that Sanatana Goswami is sitting with some brahmanas discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. So king asked, what's the matter? You stopped going there and you're pretending that you said that you're sick, but the physician said that nothing is wrong with you, and here also I can see that you're perfectly all right. Why are you neglecting your royal responsibility? Then Sanatana Goswami told him that, look, I don't have any more interest in those activities. Please release me. The king was so fond of Sanatana Goswami, he told that, look, your brother is a bandit. He likes to go plunder people, kill people, loot their things. He's talking about himself, identifying himself as his brother. That your brother is a useless bandit. All he does is that. You are the only one who is maintaining the affairs of this kingdom. Now, if you neglect your responsibility, then what will happen to the kingdom? Sanatana Goswami still urged, please let me go, release me, and please. So the king said, okay, I'm going to Orissa to fight with the king of Orissa, King Prataprudra. You come with me. Sanatana Goswami said, you will go there and create disturbance to the Lord. I don't want to accompany you. Then the king became so angry, he said, he ordered, arrest him and put him in prison. When I come back, then I'll judge him. So this is how Sanatana Goswami, although he was the chief minister, now he is arrested in the prison and in the prison. So king is gone to fight the battle with King Prataprudra. And Sanatana Goswami started to negotiate with the jailkeeper, prison in charge, a Muslim guy. And he told him that, look, you see, I have taken a path, a spiritual path. And if you help me, then you will acquire a lot of piety. And I will give you 7,000 gold coins. He said, okay, you may give me 7,000 gold coins, but the king will come and kill me. Who is going to enjoy that gold coin? So Sanatana Goswami told him that, look, I'll give you 10,000 gold coins. You let me go and don't worry about the king. You tell the king that I went to evacuate on the bank with hands, my feet tied with chains, and somehow I fell in the river and I got drowned. So this is how Sanatana Goswami got released. He escaped from the prison, bribing the prison keeper. And then Sanatana Goswami actually traveled all the way to Vrindavan. And then he stayed there. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had very, very sweet relationship with him. And Sanatana Goswami, while he was traveling from Vrindavan to Puri to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he actually took bath in some contaminated pond, and he developed some ulcer, whole body. And when he went to Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was embracing him. Sanatana Goswami, whenever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would see him, he would just embrace him. So Sanatana Goswami used to feel very bad that my body is full of ulcer, pus oozing from that, and the Lord is embracing me. So he said that I'd rather give up this body under the wheel of the chariot of Lord Jagannath. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu found out he is the super soul. He knows what's going on in whose mind. So he told Sanatana Goswami, Sanatan, do you think that this body is yours? This body has been given to me. This is not your body. Who gives you the right to destroy this body? And if by giving up the body I could get Krishna Prem, then I would have given up thousands of bodies. By giving up your body, you won't get Krishna Prem. So this is how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu persuaded Sanatana Goswami, recognizing that he was actually going to commit suicide under the wheel of Lord Jagannath's chariot. So in this way we can see the exalted personalities that actually followed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And ultimately they all are Krishna's associates from Vrindavan. Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari. Sanatana Goswami is Ananga Manjari. These are all Krishna's eternal associates, Radharani's intimate companions and associates. So that's why we can see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes and Krishna's pastimes are actually the two sides of the same happening. In Krishna, in Vrindavan, he is enjoying Krishna Prem, and the same Krishna in Navadvip is distributing that Krishna Prem. What Krishna is enjoying in Vrindavan, Krishna is giving it to everybody in Navadvip. So that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is offering us. What Krishna is enjoying in Vrindavan, he is offering it to us here. And what is that? That is the loving relationship with Krishna. And that loving relationship has two aspects: union and separation. And in loving relationship, separation intensifies the love even more than union. So we actually have the special prerogative. We are separated from Krishna, and it's so easy for us to experience that loving relationship in separation. We are already separated. So in that separated situation, we can relish the highest form of loving relationship. That's what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving us. And of course, we do not want to get into the relishing aspect of it, but we are involved in the distribution aspect of it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute, and our business is to assist him in his distribution mission. In course of time, he will take care of us. We are his servants. We simply want to serve him, and then in course of time, whatever the master wants to award or whatever he wants to do with us, he will do with us. We don't have to worry about it. Therefore, our business is to just become a part of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. And that mission is Sankirtan. The mission is to distribute it to others. Engage everything to serve Krishna. Engage everything in the mission to distribute what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute. So please take up this responsibility wholeheartedly, and you can rest assured that your life will become successful. Thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.